Okay, so I am super excited to have you on, Kelly. It is, we've known each other for like a year now. I think we met a year
Hmm.
ago at Year of You, which is coming up soon again, right? Um, so for everybody that doesn't know what Year of You is, actually, can you just talk about that really briefly? Because that was honestly, when I went to it last year, was really powerful for me and kind of an entrance into all of like just spending like allowing myself to spend time on myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And how important that was, especially for my health overall and gut health, because a lot of my gut issues can sometimes be related to stress. And so Year of You was really, really important for me. So can we actually just start there?
Thank
Um,
you. That makes me feel so good. Yeah. Well, first of all, I think it's interesting that you say that about, that kind of being an opening of you spending time on yourself, or because I think that's a problem for many people in general.
yeah.
I was going to say specifically women, but I see it with men too.
Mhm.
Um, so it's really important for us to remember that we need to take that time for ourselves to have the opportunity to foster growth,
Yeah.
right? That space to create awareness.
Hmm.
Um, and then around, what you want to do or what you want to change in your life. And then you can start to make plans to move forward. So, or just sometimes relax and not think.
Yeah, there was one part of it when at Year Review where we like danced just to dance.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, like when have I danced just to do it, just to like be in the moment, just feel the movement and how it feels in my body. So that was fun.
I was thinking about that this morning. I was like, I need to just like dance. I
Mhm.
was listening to a podcast a while back and they were talking about how dogs when they wake up they like shake it off.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And like we actually need to shake things off too. And it's funny
Mhm.
when we do those dance parties at events or retreats and people are like, oh, I don't know. And
Yeah,
then they get into it and it's like the best thing. You get done, you're sweating, your heart beats up, you feel
yeah,
happy and energized and
yeah.
yeah.
You just let go and it's just a nice transition. And I never thought of that. You're totally right. Like my dog always just like shakes every time. I'm
Yeah.
like, why are you shaking?
I heard it's like you're shaking off the trauma actually. Like, and
Oh,
that's like a whole other thing. But yeah, yeah.
right. Interesting. Okay, cool. So I'm excited. Year review was not going to be my first question, but it was, I
Yeah.
think, a nice
Yeah.
entrance into what I wanted to talk about.
Oh yeah, do you want
So,
me to say what it is?
oh yeah, yeah. I'm so sorry. Yes, please. I was like, "Oh, everybody knows now. You just dance. No, it's not
Yeah.
something.
So Year Review is I like to call it a half day retreat. And everyone comes from wherever they come from.
Yeah.
What we're starting with this year is what we started with last year as well, which is a chakra balancing yoga class.
Hmm.
With me, I lead it. And then we do a plant based vegan lunch. So it's really clean, but the food is to die for. Shout out to Katie's Healing Kitchen.
She did
Um,
turmeric latte that I still think about. Really
yeah,
good.
this year the food's going to be like a different menu, but I know it's going to just be, I think
Oh yeah, whatever she's gonna make is amazing.
yeah, she's incredible. And then we do a manifesting workshop. We do vision boarding. And that was kind of it last year. We had our dance party during my yoga class, which we'll be doing again. Have no fear. Um, this year we're adding on. So my goal with this event is to grow
Mhm.
it every year. So we're doubling it in size this year. Um, while people check in, they'll have the opportunity to do acupuncture
Nice.
and Reiki and Oracle card reading
Mhm.
that's with Rafaela and the acupuncture is with my friend Gabby. And they'll also be able to do that during lunch too. So it'll be like little
Cool.
booths and we might be
Yeah.
getting a masseuse in there too.
Oh,
So yeah.
love.
Yeah. So that's Year Review. It's a great way to, take time for yourself, focus on energy healing, energy balancing within your energetic system, to feel good physically and mentally, and just get really clear on what you want to bring in and
Mhm.
learn more tools about how to actually manifest the things that you desire. So,
Yeah, it's a very powerful experience of anybody. And what day is it this year?
January 18th from
Okay.
11:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m.
Got it. And it's down in San Diego, or
It's in Pacific Beach this year.
Pacific
Hmm.
Beach. Okay, so I'll definitely have to share the details with
Thank you.
everybody because it was a really great experience. And you're right, like vision boarding and just like helping you visualize what you want, and that's what I try to help people do with their gut health. Is like, what would your gut be like? Like, let's visualize that so we can work, so we know what we're working towards.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know what you're working towards, you're kind of just like flip flopping. So,
Absolutely. And we should talk about it in a bit, just how,
mhm,
what you eat actually does raise your vibration,
mhm,
which helps you be more open to bringing in the things that you want and
yeah,
all of that. Or eating in a way that
feels
makes
good.
your body feel good is going to raise your vibration. And
Yeah, I think that's a really important, and we'll have to get into that because I get a lot of people like, "Oh, I read this, and so I'm doing this, but it doesn't feel good for me." Well, then it's not for you.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
okay. Yeah, so we'll have to pin that. There's so much to talk about.
Circle around.
We'll circle around. So I wanted to ask you a question that you asked me on your podcast that I absolutely love. So it's kind of like a two-parter. So what is your favorite food? And then the question you asked me that I'd love to ask you is what makes you feel like the most awakened version of you?
Okay. Well, I read the question and originally I was thinking avocado.
That's a
I'm
big one.
obsessed with avocado. It's
Mhm.
so good for you. It makes me feel good.
Yeah.
It's tasty. You can have it a million ways.
Yes.
um, but then actually, maybe I'll throw this up.
Yeah. Your
You
smoothie.
asked me what I was drinking. This is what I have for breakfast every morning. And
Mhm.
again, like we were saying, like everyone's bodies are unique. So everyone needs to find something that works for them. But this gives me so
Mhm.
much energy. I get like all of the main macronutrients and a ton
Mhm.
of the micronutrients that I need like right off the bat.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just feel super great. And then maybe I'll have a snack, but usually I'm good till lunch. I kind of sip it throughout the morning. So
Yeah. Kind
my like morning superfood smoothie, which I
of.
have a recipe for if anybody wants it.
Oh yeah, we'll have
Yeah.
to because smoothies are probably one of my most requested things. People really love smoothies. I love really like who doesn't love a smoothie?
They're so easy.
Yeah, they are,
Just
and
get
they're
everything you
portable.
need. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
I love it.
So what's the how do you oh my gosh, I'm totally like botching
Oh,
this.
the most awakened
Yeah,
version.
yeah.
So I've been asked this question twice now. And before I've said uh, traveling.
Hmm.
And wait, what else did I say? Traveling's like the main one.
Yeah.
Um, but thinking about it, and I told you I recently moved. So all my routines have been kind of like
Different.
out of whack and
Yeah.
crazy. And, um, I've just started like really getting back into my routines and rituals. And I would say that
Hmm.
sticking with those little routines and rituals that I have in place, like having my morning smoothie,
Hmm.
um, or taking CBD at night,
Hmm.
or cooking my own food for like most of my meals every week and making sure that I'm cooking with like I'm vegan, so full plant-based, like again finding that balance at each meal, making sure I have protein, fat, and a good carbohydrate.
Hmm.
When I'm doing all of those things, that's when I feel the most awakened, because then I am more of a clear vessel to like move forward consciously and
Yeah.
positively
Yeah.
and all of those things. Yeah.
You're showing up better for yourself, which allows you to show up better for the people that you
Yeah.
serve.
Yeah. And going back to energy, right? I guess this is where I can just bring that in. It's when we're fueling our body, treating it as a temple rather than, not giving it any structure, running around eating food out all the time and just eating whatever we can find to put into our mouth. Like
Yeah.
we're going to be functioning at a higher level,
Hmm.
at the cellular
Yeah.
level and energetically. So, yeah.
Yeah, love that. Awesome. Okay. I know avocado, I have some clients who just like will just scoop out and eat avocado because it's
I do
easy.
too.
Yeah.
Salt, pepper, just give me a spoon. We're good to
Yeah,
go.
you're good to go. Comes in its
I,
own like wrapper, own bowl. You don't need anything.
yeah. I actually bring them with me when I travel. So if I'm at the airport and I
Mhm.
can't find anything to eat, I'll just like eat an avocado. Hack.
I would have
Life hack.
never thought of that. That's a really good hack.
Yeah. I heard it somewhere like a while ago, but
Yeah.
it's the best. Yeah.
Oh, that is so smart. Oh my God, that's so cool. Yeah, we're
Now
gonna
I
have
need
to
like a travel sea salt and pepper shaker too, though. Right?
yeah.
with
Just
it all.
then you just have your own little setup. I love
Yeah, yeah.
it. Okay, so tell us a little bit about your journey into wellness and yoga.
Well, it all began when I was like 3 years old. No, I started out as a kid playing soccer and gymnastics, and then I
Yeah.
cheered through high school. And in high school, actually, my cheer coach, who I really looked up
Mhm.
to a lot, was a personal trainer.
Mm.
So, we had to do conditioning and stuff, but she would always just like kick our booties.
Yeah.
Um, and then I went to San Diego State my first year. I went back home between summer, and I was an art major at this
Mhm.
time.
Oh,
Went back for summer,
yeah.
and my old cheer coach got me a job at LA Fitness selling personal training. And through that, to sell people, you kind of have to
Mhm.
work with them a little bit. And I knew a lot about working out because of,
Yeah.
my life up to
Your
that point.
background. Yeah.
Yeah. So then after that, I got certified to become
Mhm.
a personal trainer. I started teaching spinning classes
Mhm.
at San Diego State.
Mhm.
And so by the time I was 19, I was already training clients and doing
Wow.
fitness classes and stuff. So I feel really lucky because I really found what I loved at an early age.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and I talk about this all the time, but I found that the fitness world, while I loved it, I personally was not the healthiest version of myself. I actually had some body image issues and like
Mhm.
issues around food, um and that's where I realized there was like really a disconnect,
Mhm. Mhm.
um but when I really realized this was like after I did my yoga teacher training. So
Mhm.
I decided to do my yoga teacher training because um I wanted to like add another class style to what I did, because
Yeah.
I taught at this point like spin, Bosu classes, gravity classes, like all sorts of fitness classes. But I also wanted kind of a timeout from my life to really like reflect and to
Yeah.
get healthier mentally. I wanted
Yeah.
to learn how to meditate. So I
Yeah.
went to Bali, did my teacher training there, which was an incredible experience.
Yeah.
And that was when I was really like, this is what I've been missing, right? Because
Mhm.
even with clients, I would help someone lose 40 pounds. And a
Mhm.
lot of times people would gain the weight back. And it's because of your mental state. It's because
Mhm.
of your mindset, because of
Mhm.
um your self-worth,
Yeah.
right? How you feel about yourself.
Mhm.
So that's when I really started to connect all the pieces of this like total wellness puzzle that
Yeah.
I like to think of it as, like reconnecting the mind, body, and spirit. So I guess that is how I got
Yeah.
into this world.
That's it's so cool that you got into it so early, but it's interesting too because I always really knew I loved food and wanted to work with food, but there was always like pieces that I felt were missing, and like moving more into gut health felt more aligned for me. And
Mhm.
so, um, it's just a matter of listening and knowing that listening to your body, and if you feel like there's something missing, exploring and seeing what works and what doesn't, and not being just
Yeah.
being open to all of these different experiences. So Bali must have been amazing to do your yoga teacher training.
It was. I mean, you're
Yeah,
just like doing yoga 12 hours a day, but in
yeah,
the one of the most beautiful
yeah,
places.
ever.
Just the energy there. I'll probably say energy 8,000 times in this episode, but it's just, yeah. Have you been?
No.
Ugh. Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually led a retreat there this year, and it was really
Mhm.
cool because I felt like I was going full circle, and
Come.
I
Yeah.
could go back a million more times. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
Recommend it.
Yeah. Anybody? And you
The
do
food's
a
good.
lot of retreats. So if you're interested in retreats, please look to Kelly because you host some amazing
Yeah.
ones.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so stress relief, I think, is something I want to touch a little bit, or like stress. I always tell people, like, especially with gut, I find a lot of my clients, and myself included, when we get really stressed, it tends to settle in my gut. So, like, I tell people, have you ever, oh my God, there was this one time, there's these little squirrels that live in my neighborhood, and it darted in front of me when I was driving, and I freaked out because I didn't want to hit the squirrel. I was like, oh my God, my little neighborhood
I
squirrel.
would do the same thing.
And I got these like butterflies in my stomach. And I was like, that's the perfect example. Not maybe not the perfect example, but it kind of is.
It's
Like
a great example. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
of like this mind gut connection. And a lot of the
Mhm.
times when we're not feeling well, when we're super stressed out, it can settle in our gut, even if we don't consciously realize it. And there was a point in my life where I didn't realize, and to this day, there's times where I don't realize how much stress is playing a role. But I
Yeah.
always, it's one thing to be like, oh, just be less stressed. It's so easy to say, but it's a completely other like reality of the situation. Is like, it's not sometimes that easy. Um,
No.
so what are your favorite ways to help with stress? And do you have any tips for like managing stress?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's definitely important to, I'm really big into like having our little rituals or routines, like begin
Yeah.
to incorporate things regularly to help you keep your stress levels down and to help
Yeah.
you to help you to be less reactive, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
when something happens to us, being able to stop and like really process it and then move
Yeah.
forward from that place, then like, I'm stressed out, I'm gonna like freak out now. And then
Yeah.
cortisol levels, adrenaline, all that stuff goes,
Everything keeps going
your
crazy.
digestion shuts down, all that.
Yeah.
Um, so I would say first, like for managing or for just that purpose,
Yeah.
like regular use,
Uh-huh.
say meditation,
Mm-hmm.
breath work,
Mm-hmm.
for me, yoga, but I think, we have different body types too and different personality types. So for some people, I just think exercise in general, but for some that are like higher strung,
Mm-hmm.
I would say yoga, right? Calming everything down. But
Yeah.
maybe if you are more of like a low energy person, like
Mm-hmm.
making sure that you go for a run and really wake things up. So we're a little bit more balanced that way.
Yeah.
Um, but really just making sure you're sweating, you're moving your body, and you're enjoying it while you do it. Like finding
Yeah.
enjoyment in it.
I love that because sometimes I see people push themselves to do something because they feel like they should when it comes to movement and they don't exactly enjoy the way it feels, but they feel like it's the right thing to do.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. And that's what we're coming into now is more of a time where
yeah,
everyone's realizing how unique we all are and like
yeah,
everyone needs different things. But even like 5-10 years ago with fitness, it was like you go to the gym, you take your spin class or you do your cardio
yeah,
and yes, those things can work, but if you're not enjoying yourself, you're not going to stick with it. You're not going to
yeah.
feel good. You're going to feel shittier than you already do. And you're probably not going to see results, which is very frustrating and then further brings you down. So,
Yeah. So I love that. Match with your energy level with the activity. So if you're high strung, maybe do something more restorative. If you feel low energy, then do something that brings more energy into you.
yeah, yeah. But that being said, if
Yeah.
you're high strung and restorative makes you want to like just
Mm.
die or
Like
whatever, like
carve
hate
your eyes up.
then maybe don't do that.
Yeah. So
So
find
there's
something that
ways
feels
to
good.
like, I mean, that's like a whole other
Yeah.
day.
That could be a
Ayurveda, I
whole
don't
other
know.
conversation.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know about Ayurveda very much?
Yeah, so Ayurveda was something I was introduced to a while ago, but I don't know too much. Like, I kind of have like the basics of it, but it's like matching with your not personality, like
It's called a dosha.
dosha. There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah. Yeah. So the pitta dosha is like the more high strung person.
Hmm.
And they all have body types too. So I'm pitta vata mostly.
Hmm.
So the pitta is the fire energy, and they say to balance that. That's why
Yeah.
the slower things. If you're really fiery and then you're constantly doing things to keep lifting that fire, like sprinting or hardcore cardio, that's going to throw you out of balance.
Mm.
So the kapha is the earth energy. Those people should be doing the high intensity exercise.
Interesting.
And then the vatas
Yeah.
are the airy energy. And I think they can kind of just do like anything. So that's where
Yeah.
like that balancing comes from. But I would say simplest rule, just make sure you enjoy it,
Mhm.
that you're moving your
Yeah.
body
Yeah.
and sweating.
In
Yeah.
ways that feels good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love that.
So those things. Did I say
Okay.
CBD oil?
No, you did not yet.
I'm huge on CBD
Yeah.
oil lately. I did a podcast episode with
Uh-huh.
someone from the Nurigan brand, which I've been working with personally. And she mentioned on it, like the more you do it, the more your body like knows what to do with it and whatnot. So with my move, for example, I've been feeling stressed out,
Mhm.
having anxiety,
Yeah.
and I've just been doing lots of the CBD oil. I use a tincture and
Yeah.
that's a big one for me. Yeah.
CBD is a whole there's a a certification for like dietitians to use to learn more about CBD, and that's just, it's amazing, but beyond me. Like I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
so much to learn.
Yeah.
It's
It's just
interesting.
good for inflammation in general, which you get in your gut too. So that's probably like where it really.
Yeah, I have started seeing some things about CBD and gut and IBS, and it's
Mhm.
interesting. Yeah, I still have to learn quite a bit. There's a lot of things I have to learn about.
Don't we all have a lot of things we need to learn
Right?
about?
Like, let me just add that to like my list of things.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so I want to ask. So a while ago on my Instagram, I posted a yoga sequence that was probably like one of my most popular posts. So, and it was a yoga poses for constipation. And so, I work a lot with people who have a lot of gut issues, and constipation is one of the common
Mhm.
things. So, as a yoga teacher, like, do you have any favorite yoga sequences or positions or whatever that you think could be really helpful for gut health?
Yeah. I actually think I have some like actual sequences on my YouTube channel.
Okay. Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, and I can send you links to those if you
Yeah.
want. But one of the most popular ways to like help with
Hmm.
stuff like constipation and digestive issues are twisting
Okay.
postures. Because those stimulate your
Yeah.
intestines, right? So it helps to like get things moving around in there. So
Mhm.
um like just a gentle supine twist is one of the best ones you can do. If you're just trying to like, also you want to be calm, right? To be
Yeah.
able to pass.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. You want to be like in a calm position to poop. We talk about poop all
Yeah, yeah.
in
So
my
you
client.
can do, there's more
Yeah.
intense twisting postures, but simple things like a low lunge with the twist or just laying
Okay.
on your back, a supine twist.
Yeah.
Um,
What if you're in an office chair like right now? Like,
yeah, yeah. Literally, here,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's okay.
Hand down. You can just twist like this, and there
Yeah.
you go. You know,
Yeah.
hold each side for 5 to 8 breaths,
Okay.
and that can even help you. My mic's going crazy. I'll get this set back up. Another one is malasana,
Ooh, what's the last?
which they call yogi squat, where you're in a squat,
Oh,
nice
I
and
have the
low.
hardest time with that one.
You can sit on a block if that's
Okay.
challenging.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, like if you've ever seen a squatty potty,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It puts the feet up so
Right.
your
More.
colon's in like the
Yeah.
perfect position to pass
Yeah.
poop or fecal matter. What do we call it on this?
Whatever. When we say poop, bowel movement, it's all good.
Poop sounds better. Fecal matter sounds
I know.
gross.
Sounds like a whole other thing.
Yeah. So that's an amazing posture. And again,
Okay.
if your hips or your calf, if you're
Yeah.
tight and it
Yeah.
doesn't feel good, sit on a block. You could even like sit on a chair and put your feet lifted so your knees are higher than your hips and
Uh-huh.
your spine is nice and long.
Okay, cool.
Let me think. There's one called wind relieving pose.
Oh,
And
that one actually feels really good. I really like that pose.
it's really opening on your hips. But yeah, so you do the right leg first because it
Yeah.
compresses your ascending colon. And then you do the left leg because it compresses your descending colon. And a great little combo you can do is to hug the right thigh in. So your
Mhm.
left leg is straight, your right leg's in. You're hugging it in for 5 to 8 breaths.
Okay.
And then do your twist on that side.
Oh, okay.
And then you do it
Yeah.
on the other side. So
Repeat.
it's
Yeah.
like stimulating the ascending colon, which
Uh-huh.
gets things moving up, and then stimulating the descending colon, which gets it moving down and out.
Down and out, which is what a lot of my clients hope for, is down and out.
Yeah. And then I've heard if you do it the opposite way, it helps to like stop like excess, like diarrhea. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so and I see people on both ends of the spectrum where it's like sometimes it's like stuck and they're constipated, and then there's other people who are on the opposite end and have issues with like urgency and it moving too quickly.
So if you do the right leg first,
Yeah,
you'll get things moving. If you do the left leg, it can like slow things down a little bit.
that's a good tip. I like that.
Yeah.
I'll definitely have to post the links to those sequences because I think it's helpful to have like that visual to see what it looks like.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so now here's the interesting thing that I wanted to talk about. I know we kind of touched on this a little earlier, but breath work.
Mm-hmm.
And this is honestly a really new tool method that I haven't been super exposed to, but just to give a background for everybody. So a couple months ago, both you and I were randomly at the same conference. I had no idea. I was like, I remember texting you like, is that you sitting like two rows
Yeah.
in front of me?
It's on my head.
Yeah, I saw your head. And at this conference, we had an amazing woman do a breathwork session for me, and or for all of us. She did like a huge group session, just using breath. And something that I think I notice a lot with myself, and I notice this with clients, is forgetting to breathe. And like when you tense up, or like I sometimes too, I'll notice like if I'm getting dental work done. This is, I don't know why it popped up in my head. I recently went to the dentist, and like I noticed myself tensing, and like I'm not breathing as much because I'm like nervous or scared, or like, oh, is this gonna hurt, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, and I know this is something that is not new to you, and you've talked about breath work. So for those of us, myself included, who are really new to this, can you like dive a little into what breath work is and what that looks like?
Yeah. So breath work, sorry if you can hear the street.
That's life.
Yeah, right. Okay, so breath work, also referred to as pranayama, which is one of the 8 limbs of yoga. Pranayama means basically breath control. And we can use our breath and control it in different ways to stimulate or calm or reduce anxiety or stress or whatever. So the kind of breath work that we did at that conference, I think that was what they called the transformational breath work. And it's like a
yeah, that's what it
you
was.
fill, exhale. But there's so many types. And that type specifically, I think it's like really calming. I don't know I don't know exactly what happens, but you probably felt it. Your whole body like goes numb. And that's pretty,
I feel like that was
I don't know a ton about that type, but I would say that's pretty stimulating. And I'll talk about the types that I traditionally or typically use for stimulating the digestive system and for just like literally giving us a boost and waking us up. That one's pretty stimulating, I would say, because you're just pumping that oxygen in pretty quickly and then just one simple release. So yeah, breath work is basically breath control. Like I said, using our breath to stimulate different things.
Yeah.
Many people this day and age, like you were saying, like don't breathe properly or forget to breathe. And that is also a big contributor of anxiety. They kind of like work hand in hand. If you are only breathing up into your chest, it's very anxiety reducing or inducing. Like, you know, when you're having anxiety, you're only breathing into your chest, and that's why you feel like your chest is going to like cave in or something. When we breathe properly into the belly, like filling the belly up, really expanding all the sides, all parts of our lungs, it has a really calming effect. And what I think is interesting, just saying that, it's like we're breathing into the belly, which calms our nervous system. So it brings us into that rest and digest parasympathetic state, which is really great for our digestion.
Yeah, totally. I'm going to have to do a post on that, actually. I'm like, this is a great post idea.
Yeah. So there's a lot of contributors to breath work, but one of the most simple breath practices that is really, really calming for the nervous system, really good for digestion, is called wave breath. And it's a 3-part breath. So it's like super simple. I have this on my YouTube channel too.
Good. Okay, great.
But you just, sit down comfortably. You can sit on a chair on the floor, close your eyes. You can put your right hand on your belly, your left hand on your heart. And then just take a moment and breathe fully into the belly. So just filling the belly all the way up. And then filling up the rib cage and then filling up the chest. So we're filling up all 3 parts. And then as we exhale, we're releasing from the chest and then the ribs and then the belly. So it's belly, ribs, chest, ribs, belly. So
it's like as soon as you started doing it, like I started trying to match my breath with you.
Take like 5 of those breaths, and it's really slow, right? And you feel like instant calm, which is amazing. So that's one of my favorites. Alternate nostril breathing is really balancing and calming too. Again, I have this up on my channel, but you breathe in all the way to the top, and then you breathe out, and then in,
You just keep alternating.
and out. Yeah. So Nadi Shodhana, or alternate nostril breathing. And then the other two that are really stimulating. So I would
Yeah.
say if you're feeling constipated,
Yeah.
or if you're just really tired, I do this in my morning yoga classes all the time with people.
Yeah.
Um, Kapalabhati and Bhastrika, and they're very similar. Kapalabhati is a sharp exhale and a passive inhale. So I can just do it. It's,
Yeah.
you hear that?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So as you exhale, you're snapping your belly in, and then your inhale is just like a natural rebound. And then Bhastrika, you like use your arms and you pump, and it's a sharp
Oh,
inhale and exhale. So it's
interesting. So it really
yeah.
kind of like wakes you up a little bit.
Oh, totally. Like you're
Yeah.
just like, woo, like I had a
Yeah.
shot of espresso or something. Yeah. Yeah. So you guys, our breath is like, it's our life source. Like literally without it, we would be dead.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So making sure that you're breathing properly is really important. Like I would say that's step number one. Just try and become more aware of
Mm-hmm.
how you breathe, especially in stressful situations. And when you
Yeah.
feel like you're getting stressed out or anxiety or whatever, which I think most of us experience on the day to day,
Yeah. Totally.
stop and just take some deep belly breaths.
Okay.
Right? Even just
Yeah.
forget the wave breath, just take some big breaths in and out of your belly. So start to become more aware of that. And then if you want to learn more about breath work, it'll give you all of these other benefits. They also help with different chakras we had kind of
Yeah.
discussed.
We talked before we got on
Do
the
you want me
call.
to explain to them what the chakras are?
Yeah. Just really briefly. I think that would be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Because it was something new to me too. Is your view like introduced me to all these things.
Yeah. So our chakras are different energetic systems of our body. So going back to energy, which
Yeah.
we all know I love at this point.
Yeah.
But there's 7 main ones that run from the base of your spine to the crown of your head. They all govern different physical parts, like different glands, different organs, but they also all govern different emotions,
Yeah.
different mental aspects, and different energetic aspects. So, if we're specifically talking about gut health or
Yeah.
digestion, our third chakra, the solar plexus, which is
Mm-hmm.
called Manipura in Sanskrit, that is really what governs our stomach and our intestines.
Yeah.
Um, so, without getting into it too much, we
Yeah.
can
Could be like a rabbit hole.
yeah, we can do different things to bring them into balance. So, if
Yeah.
you find that you have like gut health issues or acid reflux, like that's a big one. Your solar plexus might be a little out of balance. And if it's underactive, doing those fiery things like that Kapalabhati or those like more intense twisting postures can be
Yeah.
really good to spark up that inner fire. And that's where I think like constipation would fall under,
Mm,
like an underactive solar plexus.
I see. Yeah.
And then if we have an overactive solar plexus,
Uh-huh.
because it can be out of balance either way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Maybe doing those calming things like the wave breath or the
Mhm.
gentle twist, right, can help
Yeah.
us kind of bring that back into balance. So, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. And I think you have a podcast episode going deeper into like the different chakras, right?
Yeah, actually, I just
Yeah.
posted that one a couple weeks ago. So, if people want to listen to that,
Yeah.
um, I found that whole system to be like super life changing for me and just
Yeah.
creating awareness of all sorts of different things in my life. So physical, mental, emotional. All
Yeah. It's all connected and it's interesting. I like giving people as many different tools to see what resonates with them and what feels good
Mhm.
for them and their body. And I think breath work, chakras, like yoga, all of this can be just in like another tool in their toolbox to pull out.
Totally. Yeah. And yeah, different things are going to resonate. Some people might
Yeah.
be like, what is she talking about? This is
Yeah,
great.
totally. Yeah, some people are just like, no, I'm good. And I'm like, okay, it's fine. That this is not for you.
Yeah. I mean, I remember the first time I heard
Yeah,
about the chakras, I was like, what is this? I need to know everything. And like went
yeah,
and bought a bunch of books and yeah.
yeah. I love it. Okay, actually, the other thing too I wanted to talk about, I was looking at my list of questions, was meditation. And this is something that I want to do more of. I still struggle a little bit is like finding the silent space. And I think the only time I would ever consistently do it is if I would go to yoga and at the end they would have us like in shavasana, which is just like you're just laying down, right?
Mhm.
And just music playing or whatever, and just sitting there. And that was probably one of the only, probably the easiest time for me to calm is like after a yoga class and sitting just or laying down and just relaxing and feeling like the goodness of all the movements and poses I just did. So can you talk a little bit about like meditation, or do you have tips for somebody who
Yeah.
feels like they can't be silent in their mind?
So I think it's really good that you mentioned that after your yoga practice was that when you found it the most like easy to get into that state.
Yeah.
Meditation, or sorry, asana, the yoga postures, the
Mhm.
physical part of yoga,
Yeah.
asana postures were created to help people prepare for meditation.
Oh,
Because it
okay.
loosens up your body.
Yeah.
You can sit comfortably for a long time.
Yeah.
Also, you're releasing that excess energy so you
Yeah.
can come to a calm place. So,
Mhm.
um, that's a really good tip. Like,
Uh-huh.
get some exercise in before. If I go for a run, I'll meditate after I run.
Oh, you know, I never thought of that. I never
Mhm.
realized like why it was easier for me. And that
Yeah,
makes so much sense.
because you've released all that
Yeah.
excess fire
Yeah.
energy. Um, So that's like a great point to make right there. I think
Yeah.
one of the things I hear the most from people, and I will tell you guys right now, I am not like the most dedicated meditator. I go through phases, and I
Yeah.
think it's important to have discipline, but it's also important to allow ourselves, like, not get hard on ourselves if we're not in that time, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, but so many people say to me, I'm not good at meditating. They also say that, like, I'm not good at yoga. And it's like, there is no such thing as being good at
Mhm.
meditating or yoga. Um, I don't know how far into a meditation practice you'd have to be for your mind to actually go blank, right? Things are always going to be popping up. And actually, if we want to get really woo woo, when we
Mhm.
meditate, that's actually when we get some of our best ideas or downloads, if you want to get really spiritual with it.
Yeah.
Divine ideas, where they send it
Yeah.
to you. So I would say, first of all, just know your mind is probably not going to shut up. The whole point
Just
really,
accept that. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, is to cultivate awareness.
Mm.
Um, and when you start to cultivate a little awareness, it opens up your whole world. It can
Yeah.
really help with
Yeah.
eating and digestive disorders, issues, all
Mhm.
of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's very calming. It calms your nervous system again, which is great for digestion and gut health.
Mhm.
Um, and and yeah, I'm kind of going off on a little tangent, but
Mhm.
main tips. So, one, know that your mind's not going to go blank, so don't get hard on yourself when things are going.
Yeah.
Um, two, maybe exercise right before.
Mm.
Three, I'm really big on mantra meditation. So,
Mhm.
picking a mantra and
Yeah.
repeating that mantra to yourself as you meditate. Then you have
Uh,
something you're focusing on,
yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
you're still in the present moment, which
Yeah.
is another big
Yeah.
like benefit. Like, we
Yeah.
want to learn to be in the moment. So,
Yeah.
example, a great mantra is I am here.
Mm.
Okay, so you're meditating as you inhale, thinking I
Yeah.
am,
Yeah.
as you exhale, here.
Mm.
Right? So just I am here. Or you can, if you're, let me think. If you're having gut health issues
Yeah.
and you want your gut to feel happier and healthier and you want to help yourself meditate a little bit, your mantra could be, I have a happy gut, right?
Oh, I
Like,
love
I
that. Yeah.
have a happy gut. Like,
Yeah.
split it up kind of
Yeah.
in half. So as you
Yeah.
inhale, you say half the mantra. As you exhale, you say the other half. And as you're going, right?
Mm.
Maybe your mind starts to wander at some point. It kind of like trails off. And it's like, okay, wait, stop. I see that thought.
Mhm.
I'm going to let it go.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
that's a great way to do it. I had something else I was going to say. You could simply focus on your breath. Think inhale as you inhale,
Mhm.
exhale as you exhale.
So it gives you that thing to focus on to help you kind of be a little bit more present.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's an app called Insight Timer, and
Oh, I feel I've heard of it. I haven't downloaded that one yet.
it's amazing. So they have I don't even know how many guided meditations on there, and it's free. Like,
Mhm.
and if you want a meditation on anything, you can type it in the search bar and you'll find it.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
they
Okay.
also have a timer. So
Uh-huh.
it's like, say I'm sitting down to meditate and
Yeah.
I put my alarm on and it like goes off. And it's like, like that's not a peaceful way
All
to leave
abrupt.
meditation.
Yeah.
Insight timer has different noises, like a little ding or like a
Oh,
gong
so something
or
just
like
quiet.
a
Yeah.
little like, yeah, they have like
Yeah.
really peaceful little, and all of this is free. They have like stuff you can pay for now too. But
Yeah.
yeah, I have meditations on there too. So if
Oh,
anyone wants
cool.
to, yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
But that's like I use it pretty much every time I meditate for the timer part at least. And
Yeah.
um, but sometimes if I'm having trouble really meditating on my own, I'll just listen to guided meditations, and that's really, really helpful if you're starting out.
I love that. There's something you said at the beginning that kind of made me think like building awareness, and it reminds me of I always have my clients do food diaries because
Mhm.
it's so easy to forget these things, and like the food diary really helps build awareness with how food is making people feel.
Mhm.
So I think this like meditation, guided meditation, or just sitting quietly, or running or doing something active, and then just sitting, being present, is another great way to bring attention to mentally how are you feeling, kind of like checking in there.
Totally. Mentally and physically. Like you
Yeah.
can do a
Yeah,
full body scan of yourself while you're
that's
sitting there.
right.
Feel
Yeah.
what your belly feels like. And that's a great thing to do after you eat, especially if you're trying
Ooh, yeah, that's a good
to change
idea.
your eating
Yeah.
habits. If you're trying, I mean, we could talk about eating disorders too, like the benefit of all this on people with eating disorders, or if you're trying to change your diet for your gut health, like any issues you have there, like
Yeah.
after you eat, taking a moment. Well, first of all, trying to eat while you're just eating, not
Yes,
like
that's
doing
a
it.
hard part already that
Yeah,
for many
yeah.
people. Yeah.
Eating slowly, which I'm
Yeah.
not great at.
Yeah.
um, but then just taking 30 seconds to a minute to close your eyes. Like, how did that food just make me feel
Mm,
physically,
mhm. Yeah.
emotionally, and energetically?
Yeah.
Like people will say, I'm tired after I eat lunch. It's like, well, there's probably something up with the lunch if you're exhausted after you eat, because
Yeah.
it should actually energize you.
Yeah. And ground you, and that's I really like that idea. I never thought of that. I'll have to have my clients do that, just like take the 30 seconds
Hmm.
and just sit to see how it is, because a lot of the times, myself included, sometimes I'll be like watching TV and eating, or like you're eating and looking at the clock because you have to rush and go somewhere after, and you don't get that time to really make the connection,
Yeah.
because sometimes you just go right back into like stress mode with
Yeah.
whatever work you have to go back to, or pick your kid up, or whatever it happens to be.
Totally. And I'm not saying this because I'm trying to promote being vegan, but I do want to say, because again, everyone's bodies are different. Like,
Yeah.
I have a client who's been vegan, but she has IBS issues and all that stuff. And so she started eating cheese again, and now her gut feels better. And
Yeah.
so I'm not saying this works for everybody, but for me,
Hmm.
I used to have like eggs and oatmeal and like avocado every morning, which is a healthy breakfast, but
Yeah.
I used to always feel so tired in the mornings. And then when I turned to being plant-based and vegan, I started doing this smoothie. I've been doing it for over 2 years now every
Yeah.
morning. And like it changes a little bit here and there, but
Yeah.
I feel energized now.
Yeah.
And same thing with different things that I would eat for lunch then versus now. And I think for me, eating the animal products like made me feel sluggish and tired.
Yeah.
Whereas eating plant products, my body really loves and I have tons of energy.
Yeah,
So,
I think it's and it kind of goes in line, like, so I do like blood testing to figure out food
mhm,
sensitivities, and for some people we'll find out like meat doesn't really work well for them, or for me, like I tried to be vegan and I didn't feel so good, and when I brought meat back in I felt better. And so it's interesting, and I think it highlights the point that it really is important to take the time to listen, and what works for you might not, and probably won't, work for the person next to
mhm.
them. And even if we both eat meat or we're both vegan, there's still going to be foods within that realm that do or don't always agree with us.
Yeah.
So it's that importance of listening, and seeing how it makes you feel.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a great, we just came up with it.
Yeah.
Sit down after you eat and see how you
I know,
feel.
I know. I'm like, okay, that needs to go as like a tip. That, and like bring an avocado to when you're traveling. Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's genius.
It's
I
so
love
good.
that.
It saves you. I mean, especially
Yeah.
for me, I'm vegan, so I like
Yeah. It can be harder.
I'm like, there's literally nothing I can eat that's even at all or sometimes remotely healthy, and I don't want to eat like junk
And then
maybe.
it's like
And then
$15 to like have a
eat
sandwich.
like a nasty sandwich on
Yeah.
white bread with like old soggy vegetables. Like I'll just eat my avocado. I'm okay.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much, Kelly. Can you tell everybody, I'll post it to links to your YouTube, but tell everybody where to find you.
All right. So you can find me on Instagram at Kelly Collins Wellness. Yep.
Yeah.
And then same thing on Facebook. I don't do too much on there though. It's just kind of like the leftovers of my Instagram.
Yeah.
My events are on Facebook though. My website, www.kellycollinswellness.com. You can listen to my podcast,
Yeah.
and it's called Woke Wellness Podcast, or Woke Wellness with Kelly Collins, on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And yeah, I'm on YouTube under Kelly Collins Wellness.
Awesome.
Insight Timer under Kelly Collins Wellness.
I love that. I have to download Insight Timers because I do try to recommend different meditation tools, and I keep hearing about it, but like I haven't.
It's amazing. And for sleep, they have like yoga nidras that can help you sleep. And
that's a good one.
Yeah. So I think that's it.
All right, and then I will definitely post links. So thank you so much, Kelly.
Thank you.